This is Oral Ofori of the African Dream. We're here with our special guest attorney, Joe Johnson, to the left of your screen, and Dr. Adrienne Booth Johnson to the right of your screen. And both are going to tell us about the Wuyibra Foundation, what it's about, and what they're up to. Welcome to the African Dream.
Thank you, Oral, for having us.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Dr. Johnson,
yes.
Tell us, what is Wuyibra?
Wuyibra, as our women in the program say, our motto is we never ever give up. Wuyibra is a women's empowerment program based in Ghana, West Africa. It is a program that we established where we create women entrepreneurs who make and sell reusable or washable sanitary pads so girls can stay in school. We make the pads affordable so the girls can afford to buy them, and it creates women entrepreneurs, but also it lets young girls attend school during their menstrual cycle. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, or one of the fundamental parts of our program is that we wanted something that would be sustainable.
Yes.
That when we helped create a woman entrepreneur, we wanted her to be able to stay in business, prosper, but also provide a community good, and that's providing reusable pads for young girls so that they can stay in school. And so up to date, we've in our 5-year history of the program, we put 250 women in business as entrepreneurs. And that consists of a sewing machine, fabric, training, microfunding, and recently we've added a medical component.
That's right. And so we go back to Ghana once or twice a year and provide marketing information, sales techniques, customer service, things that I learned while before I retired from the Coca-Cola company that are transferable skills that I now take back to Africa, to Ghana specifically, and teach women living in villages how to make and sell the pads. And to my husband's point about the medical component, we also talk to them about breast cancer awareness. And so if you feel a lump or if something is going on in your body, you must go to the doctor in order to get it checked out. And while we're there in training, we also do high blood pressure, diabetes, but more importantly, I tell the women, don't miss out on this blessing, because this is a blessing. Bring your children. If you don't have anybody to keep your kids, bring them. And we'll take care of the children while you learn the new skill, which is a sustainable skill.
Yeah,
It's interesting you mentioned Ghana. Do you have such programs going on in other parts of Africa besides Ghana?
Yeah, well, initially we started in 2001 in South Africa, and we were creating empowerment programs for women. We found that there were a series of artisans who were just amazing artisans, but we often found that they were selling their goods and their products below value. In other words, sometimes they were selling them for less than it cost to make. And so we helped train them using our Coca-Cola skills on marketing, sales, product development, costing, reinvesting in your business. So that was the first empowerment program. So we brought in all the women artisans. We trained them for the day on these Coca-Cola principles, and they're not just Coca-Cola principles, they're business principles and financial literacy. We fed them. We had spiritual worship. We had exercise components. So we wanted to just train the whole woman to be the best she could be in maximizing her skills in sales.
So that was in South Africa. We also taught them about break-even analysis. So if it costs you X amount of dollars to make something, you have to sell it at a certain price or you're losing money. So we did that. So that was South Africa. Then in 2012, we moved on to Liberia. And in Monrovia, Liberia, we worked with the Coca-Cola bottler, Seth Aduba. We created a women's empowerment program where the bottler provided an umbrella, a cooler, a table, and my husband and I, we paid for the Coca-Cola products they sold. Now, we thought the women were going to sell anywhere from 3 to 5 cases a week. Those women sold 75 to 100 cases a week. In fact, they became distributors themselves. So, what we realize is that when you give a woman, it doesn't matter if it's a woman in Africa or a woman in Alabama. If you give a woman an opportunity, especially a mother, they're going to make it happen.
Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of what we found on the continent is that these women are not just skilled, but they're resourceful, and they're
Yes.
determined, and they have a will just to be successful. So in all of the African countries that we've established programs, we look for a grassroots program that didn't require large amounts of capital to get started. We wanted some fundamental, foundational programs that we could just fund in a way that could help women be successful. They could help their families, their communities, provide school fees for their kids, help buy uniforms. And so that's been the basis of what we've done. And after we started a program in Liberia, we started a program in Ghana, but also in Sierra Leone as well.
That's right. See, we understand the principles of the religious principles. My husband and I are both ministers. And so we know that to whom much is given, much is required. And so God gave us this. And when God gives you the vision, God will give you the provisions. And so we're there creating sustainable programs for women who, listen, we're thousands of miles away in Detroit, Michigan, but they've been praying to God for a miracle, or they've been praying to God for a second chance. And God answered their prayers by sending us as vehicles to help them. And so that's what we're encouraging everyone to do, is whatever God is telling you to do, don't waste time, do it. And so the women are so appreciative of the program, the Woe You Brought program in Ghana that we have. And we went to Sierra Leone. We have women in Sierra Leone as well. And we just see the women, once they come in, they're very quiet and very, demure. But once they get that training, get that sewing machine, we give them micro funds. And when they walk out of that with their money, that start their own business, oh man, the smiles on their faces are unbelievable.
And to my wife's point, we bring them back each year for business reviews to find out how they're doing. How successful is the business? Are there any hurdles or problems that they've encountered? And to see the transformation in these women from when they came in with no skill to entrepreneurs who are creating business opportunities for themselves, who are hiring other people, who are creating products. And we don't limit our entrepreneurs to just making pads. Anything they can do with a sewing machine, whether it's school uniforms, whether it's masks. In the pandemic, they were pivoting and making masks, the pads. They can do alterations. If they're fashion designers, they can use that machine for anything that they can generate revenue for themselves, their families, and their communities.
And I'll share with you one story, Anita. And Anita was 18 years old in the 6th grade. And that's because her father, when she was 12 or 13, wanted her, when she had her period, he wanted her to go into marriage. And she said, no, I want to get my education. And so her father disowned her. And so her brothers lived in the northern part of Ghana. And they said, come on up here, Anita, we'll take care of you. Well, when she finally got to the northern region for them, they had sold her into marriage. And she called the police and had them arrested. And so therefore she was homeless and she was an orphan. And so she finally had enough money saved so she could go back to school, and she went back to the school, the grade she left, which was the 6th grade. So we saw Anita, and I said, Anita, we want to help you. So we put Anita in our program in 2017. 2 years later, you would not recognize Anita. Anita started her own. She was working, doing pads. She was making alterations in her village. And guess what? 2022, Anita now owns her own store. So, I mean, just to see the transformation, as my husband said, from Anita, who's an 18-year-old in the 6th grade, to now she's a 21, 22-year-old woman. It's just unbelievable. It's a blessing.
That's pretty interesting. This is like a huge job and responsibility that you've taken upon yourselves. And we, as the African Dream, want to say kudos for all the amazing things you do. What are some of the ways that you receive financing for this? We know this is a tough job. It's a non-profit, and it requires money sometimes. And so, how do you receive funding? We realized recently in the news that you received $50,000 from an entity here in the U.S. In July 2022. Tell us where some of that money is going to go into what you do, and basically how you receive funding, or how people can support your project financially, logistically, and in other terms. And yeah.
Well, I'm glad you asked. As you know, Oral, for any nonprofit organization to be successful, money and funds is at the heart of what we do. But we don't like to be limited by money. Understand it's necessary to do some of the dreams and plans we have for our women. My wife is a primary fundraiser, and we rely on private donations, organizations, churches,
friends,
sororities, and we have a lot of out-of-pocket donations from ourselves. We've given a lot to these programs, but we do it because we believe in the value of the mission. And we have a motto in our company that we want to change the world one village at a time. And so we recognize that money and donations are at the heart of what we do.
And so the $50,000 donation you're referring to was by none other than the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. The Zetas are women of service. I mean, they truly believe in service. And so they've been one of our sponsors for the last couple of years. And I tell you, I was in tears when they called us on the stage and made that announcement that they were donating the money to us for our project. And so that money is going to be used to train more women. So we will be creating more women entrepreneurs. We will also use that money to help us. We're going into the schools. And so we've talked about putting the sewing machines in the schools and having the home economics teachers teach the women, the girls in the schools, how to make their own pads.
And also how to sew and be seamstresses and fashion designs and all the things that sewing machines can do.
And so if anybody would like to make a donation, such as the Zetas, we also, the Links Incorporated, they've been one of our sponsors. Churches have been our sponsors. The sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, there are numerous sororities and organizations that have helped us. The Business Women of Fayette and Coweta County have been for years one of our sponsors. So if anybody's interested in donating, they can go to our website, which is www.woyebra, which is spelled WOYEBRA.org, and they could make a donation online. Because like I said, our motto is for the girls, we never ever give up, and we want them to know that we as the African diaspora, we're there to support them. We're there to help, and we hope that other diaspora people will join us in our pledge to move forward and help the women in Africa.
Well, folks, as you can hear from the horse's own mouth, they receive funding, but they are open to getting all the support. And so if you want to donate, the website is right there on the screen. The means to contact them is also right there on the screen. Reach out, connect. I'm sure they could, find ways they can work with you, whether you're an individual or an entity. So yes, don't hesitate to connect. They're doing an amazing job.
My name is Anita Obi from the Northern region. I'm 80 years old of age. I'm here because I don't have any parent to take care of me, and my brothers who I'm staying with, they wanted to give me out to marry, but because of the grace of God, you people came there and my teachers discussed it with you and you said you would help me. So I'm glad I'm here, and through this I can be able to sell and take care of myself. Thank you.
I am who I am because of you.
This program has helped me a lot. Before I could join this program, I was in school when they came, and by God's grace, I was the one chosen to be part of the program. And through this program, I was given a machine, and they were giving us materials to show pad and sell. And through that selling of the pad, it has helped me feed myself, my son, and now I'm feeding on that. What she used to tell us is that we should push. push, and that push means we should pray until something happens. And this week, when I went to church, I told God I wanted to see her this week. So yesterday when I just called Auntie Ellen, she was with her. And that made me, I was proud. So today I came to meet her, and I was very happy when I saw her. I thank God for opening this door for me, and I know God is going to do wonders in my life for me to do for others. The advice I have for my colleague friends is, whatever mommy comes to you and introduce to you, don't take it as a joke. It is something that will help you if you focus on it. So I am begging, when she comes to you and she gives you a material or something, you must use it, because it is the one that has helped me, and today you are seeing me the way I am. And I know I am going far than this. Thank you.
Well, God has been truly good. The Woe You Brought program has been very helpful, very beneficial, and a blessing to many of the women here in Ghana. And Anita is an example of what this program does and the power of the Woe You Brought program for women living in villages in rural Africa. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your prayers. And thank you for your continued love. God bless you all.
Let me ask you, on behalf of the African Dream, have there been things or experiences that you've learned through this project that you feel like you could share with non-African or non-developed or highly developed countries that will be nuggets that they can learn from?
Well, one of the things I would say is, don't try to create a program sitting in America. You've got to go to Africa. You've got to go, because otherwise you're developing a program that you think is a good program. I'll give you an example. I wanted to do show our Woe You Brought women the importance of community relations and giving back. So I went to a school in Prom, and I talked to the principal, and I said, I want to take the pre-K and kindergarten children, and I want to have an end-of-the-year school party for them in July. And I said, so I'll bring cake and ice cream and balloons. And he said, what are we supposed to do with that, Reverend Johnson? And I said, it's a party. He said, if you want to have a party, give them rice and put chicken in it. And I was like, really? That's a party? Well, we did. We followed what he said, and it was amazing. And the reason why I selected that age group is because I knew their mothers were still ministrating. So while I was inside hosting the party, our Woe You Brought women were outside selling pads. So it really worked really well.
And or here's the other thing we found, that you have to have a team on the ground.
That's right.
You have to have some people in country who are skilled, knowledgeable about local culture, and also can share the vision of what we're trying to create. Mm-hmm. So, we have our partner, Ellen Al-Dubai, mm-hmm. who's our Vice President of Operations, who does an amazing job at logistics and finding people, locations, mm-hmm. Fabric, machines, whatever it takes to have the program running. She's the person responsible for that. And then Jennifer Moffat is sort of our local person who does some of our technology for us, yes. and just on the ground resources. And so I think those are the two most important things. Understand the people who you're trying to serve and what their needs are, but also making sure that you have a strong on-the-ground team to execute these plans and visions that I don't care how great your plan is, if you don't have somebody in country to execute it for you, you're not going to be successful.
And one last piece to that is, I would say, and you can buy in country. Mm-hmm. See, you don't have to bring stuff from America. For those people who have not gone, I mean, Africa, it's a major continent. It's not even a country, it's a continent. And they have major stores, so we don't really have to buy anything. All we have to do is go. So once you have an idea, the vision, the plan, the business plan, or whether you're a social entrepreneur or whatever, once you go in country, you'll be able to do all the things that you want right there in the country.
Right. So like Dr. Johnson is saying, all you have to do is go. Speaking of going, I'm told that you two have a trip coming up to Ghana in connection with what you do through Woyibra. Tell us about that trip.
Well, really, in 2022, the Zeta Phi Beta sorority is taking 170 Zeta sorority sisters to Ghana. And while they're there, they're going to host a conference for Woyibra women. So we're going to bring in 150 of our 250 women, and they're going to talk about legal issues. They're going to talk about marketing, sales. They're going to talk about a lot of different things that these women will need in order for them to be successful, as well as they're putting together goodie bags for them. And then on the other end, our women are going to bring items such as, I've got some on now. Our women, they do bracelets or they do dresses. So they'll be bringing items as well to sell to the women. So it's going to be a great day for them.
And, or what we recognize is this is the power of connecting the diaspora with Africa.
Yes.
When we connect the skills, the resources, and the knowledge and education with the resourcefulness and the creativity and skills of African people, there's nothing we can't do as a people. And so we just want to encourage people to understand and visit Africa and see the unlimited opportunities here.
Yes.
I mean, there is nothing that you can't do on this continent. There's opportunities. You just have to have a vision and a will to make it happen.
So let's go back to the menstrual hygiene pad that you produce and share with young women in Ghana and other parts of Africa where you have programs from South Africa to Liberia. Show us what the pad looks like. Tell us how it works. And since it's reusable, let's speak to how hygienic it is to reuse it. Because when people hear, oh, you can reuse this, they're like, is it hygienic? So speak to that.
Ellen does a lot of how we can streamline it, make the fabric more usable. And so one of the things, it has a outer layer that is leak proof. And then, it has a cotton layer as well that is absorbent. And then it has these snaps that sort of hold it with the woman's undergarment.
And then just to give you some history of it. So my husband and I, our daughter Jayla, had told us that there was a problem with women, and Ellen shared with us that as a girl growing up, it's very difficult to find sanitary pads. So in America, you just run to Walgreens, CVS, and you buy it. But when you're living in a village, girls are usually using towels or I think she said, or old rags, or really they don't go to school during their period. So my husband and I, we bought 1,000 pads. We took them to Ghana. We took them really to London to our daughter Jayla. She took them to Ghana. We said, Jayla, do you think people really need pads? And Jayla came back and she said, Mom, yes, they need them. So we bought the 1,000 pads. So what we decided to do was, after we gave away 1,000 pads, we said, okay, that's great. But then we thought about it and they said, this is not sustainable. These pads are washable, but they only last for 12 to 16 months. And so what we decided to do was, instead of giving people fish, teach them how to fish. And that's when we bought the sewing machines. And it's very simple to make. And so Ellen and now we hire our own women that have been in the Woyibra program. As my husband said, it's 5 years now. And so when we train new women, we have our older women in the program who make them. And so we give you fabric, we show you how to make the pad, we give you the pads so that you could start selling them right away, and then we help you sustain the program, but also not limiting to you to just making pads, but whatever it takes to sustain yourself and your family.
Right. And that's a big part of it. We want our women to be resourceful, so whatever they can do to use a sewing machine, we want them to make. One of our women is making sandals with her machine. Part of her dynamic venture is to make sandals in addition to school uniforms and pads. And so we'd like to make sure that women are utilizing all the opportunities they have that the sewing machine can provide, and that's just been the basis of it. So we are constantly looking at a new and better pad. We were thinking about how we can make it more absorbent. So all of those are things that are part of our thinking and our planning and our strategic vision.
And so what we also do is some of the things I learned at Coca-Cola, buy one, get one free. So we teach the women, look, if you give somebody a pad, if they buy one, give them one for free. Or if they're making alterations to a dress, a lot of women are not familiar with the pads. So if they're making alterations or you're making a gown for them or whatever you're doing, then give them a pad. And they found that women come back. What we also taught them is, listen, you can't have this pad on all day long and it doesn't leak. So you've got to interchange the pad. So you might wear a pad to school, the lunchtime or before you leave school, you change the pad. And so we teach them also about how to make soil resistant bags so that the dirty pad, you can take that home with you, wash that out, and then switch pads. So we it's just a part of training and teaching how to have hygienic care, so better care for yourself.
This has been amazing talking to you, and we look forward to hearing more of your success stories. And if there's anything else, any final word you'd like to share with whoever, based on whatever topic, whether to the government, whether to the people, whether to folks in the United States, that will be a lesson or a recommendation. Now is the time to share that.
Well, listen, I'll just say this. My wife and I, we're no great philanthropists or anything like that. We're just two people with a heart, who have been touched and led by God to serve. And so this is part of our ministry and just serving. But what we found is you can start small, but just grow exponentially just by your efforts and connecting with people. I just believe that God provides, as my wife is always saying, if he gives you the vision, he'll give you the provision. And God has just done that to help us grow this program and the other programs that we've also created throughout Africa.
And what I'll say is that it says in the Bible, it says, who shall I send and who will go for us? And that's when I said, send me. So ever since I was a little girl, I knew I was going to do something in Africa. I just didn't know what. But you don't have to worry about that. Listen, if God is telling you to do something, do it. Don't wait. Sometimes I go to Africa by myself, but I'm not alone because I have a host of angels encamped around me. So if you've got if he told you to write a book, if he told you to take some books, if he told you to go to Senegal, whatever he told you to do, go to Ghana, go. He's gone there before you. He's just waiting for you to come and do what God has asked you to do. And so don't tarry. Don't wait on others. Just go, and God will be there. He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you.
Well, it was very, very much educative listening to you two speak, and we appreciate you making the time. We wish you all the best in your endeavors. And folks, if you're watching, to connect with them, check out the screen. All their contact information is on there. Get in touch. They are open to receiving partnership, work with them, and let's keep this dream alive.
All right. Thank you.
God bless
Oral.
you. Thank you.
God bless.